The Bitcoin price is at risk of retesting and collapsing not between, but below 30K. I believe it's going to be between 30 to 45K for the rest of the year. And I've been saying this since before the initial crash, collapse, contraction, whatever you want to call it. But how do you think this is going to affect Tron and BitTorrent? And I'm going to get into that in a minute. And I'm going to talk about what's actually going to happen. How is it going to affect their price action? But before I get into all that, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. I really appreciate the views. If you're new to the channel, I want you to do something that I didn't used to do. I used to get immersed in content creators' videos. I'd enjoy them so much that I would completely forget to support the content creator and reward their hard work by smashing the like button, hitting the bell, subscribing, and commenting down below. So if you could do those few things and share, I'll just wait 3 seconds so you could do it. It's free. It'll help me out here tremendously, and I know the value I'm giving you is worth it, so I'll just wait a second. Thank you for doing that, and I'll get into it. Bitcoin price at risk of 30K retest following bearish triangle breakdown. So, an overnight crash in the Bitcoin spot market Wednesday brought prices down from $35,077 to $32,250. So, everyone's panicking and freaking out. There's some short unlocks happening in July. I do not think that it's going to stay below 30,000. It may just do a little creepy little hair drop under 30 temporarily, but it's going to stay between 30 to 45,000 for the rest of the year. It's going to be range bound. That's my opinion, not investment advice. So far I've been right. Maybe I'll be wrong. We'll find out, but it looks to me that that's the logical range for now. So Bitcoin's BTC price looks poised to retest 30,000 as traders continue to pull back from upside bets on a spell of bearish technical pattern dubbed as symmetrical triangle. The structure forms when an asset fluctuates between two converging trend lines. In doing so, the asset rebounds after testing the triangle's lower trend line as support and pulls back upon treating the upper trend line as resistance. I know this may sound a little bit boring, but it's necessary, so just humor me and stay with me. Eventually, it breaks out of the range in the direction of its previous trend and falls by as much as the maximum distance between triangle's upper and lower trend line. Why 30,000? So what's the focus here on why the 30,000? So Bitcoin was trending inside a similar triangle-like consolidation pattern until it ultimately broke below the structure's lower trend line. As a result, the flagship cryptocurrency's probability of shifting its downside target near 30,000 increased. This is partly because the structure's maximum height was shy of 2,550, and subtracting it from the point of breakout, 33,878, you can see it here, lands the price objective near 31,308, I believe is what it says. So, as usual, I'm not going to go into the charting. There's plenty of channels that do that. The source is Cointelegraph if you want to access this specific article and get into it and go over it again multiple times. It's hard to digest things the first time around. Sometimes when something is worthy, you want to look at it more than once. You'll be able to, not just you, anyone will digest easier that way. So the bearish setup also surfaced as Bitcoin tested 32,334 as its interim support in Thursday's early London session. A minor bounce ensued that took the price above 32,600. However, the rebound lacked additional upside conviction owing to a bearish divergence between prices and volumes, suggesting that Bitcoin might resume its trend to the downside. So how does all this, what is this going to do to Tron and BitTorrent? So I'm going to get to that. Peter Brandt, chief executive of Factor LLC, a global trading firm, also suggested a decline toward 30,000, albeit using a different indicator, and it's probably not going to be what you're going to expect as far as what I'm going to say about Tron and BitTorrent. So you want to stick around. And if you're looking forward to hearing that, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, share, comment down below. Let me know what you think so far. So let me know if you think it's going to go 30,000 lower or higher. What's it going to do? Talking about Bitcoin. The veteran trader spotted BTC USD exchange rates inside a rectangular pattern, a price block that has lately been keeping Bitcoin in a medium-term bias conflict. So you have more graphing here. The price traded midway through the rectangle upon pulling back from its upper trend line resistance. Such a move typically prompts the spot BTC USD rate to fall toward the lowest rectangle support level, which coincided with 30,000. So fundamentals now. Unsupportive macroeconomic fundamentals in part fueled the last Bitcoin price drop. The primary among them was the minutes from the Federal Reserve's gathering that came out Wednesday around 2:30 Eastern as expected. The United States central bank officials suggested that they might end up pulling back their support of the economy sooner than they had expected. Various participants mentioned that they expected the conditions for beginning to reduce the pace of asset purchases to be met somewhat earlier than they had anticipated at previous meetings in light of incoming data, the minutes read. Bitcoin tends to benefit from loose monetary policies. The cryptocurrency surged from as low as 3,858 in March 2020 to as high as 65,000 in April 2021. When these currencies move, these cryptos move fast. So you need to remind yourself of that when they get shot down, that they spring back up wicked quick too. So as the Fed slashed its benchmark lending rates to near zero, thus affecting the US dollar's purchasing power, and started buying government bonds and mortgage-backed securities at the rate of 120 billion per month, pushing down the yields. So look, predictions and opinions change based on market conditions. So what is said by anyone a year ago or 3 months ago does not always remain the same. What I see happening here with the China controversy, with Binance getting slapped around by various countries, all temporary by the way, the mining, everything, all this means is the industry's working, because where there's a rush to regulate or restrict, it means that there's a lot of fluidity, there's a lot of money there, and the powers that be are nervous that things can go wrong or illegal things can take place. So they try to clamp down as the monster is growing in the hopes that they have more control, or if they don't, at least they see that the industry is basically there's a lot more legitimate moves being made than not, kind of like the real world. Not that crypto's not the real world, but you know what I mean. So when you see this type of barking with the China miners having to move, Binance being strong-armed, this is bearish for short-term TRON TRX and BitTorrent BTT. There's a lot of converging things happening. It's short-term bearish. I don't mean for a year or anything. I just mean that I don't think the next 30 to 60 days are going to be as fantastic as I might have thought, but I do believe that within the next 30 to 60 days, you're going to see some good moves, northern moves for BitTorrent and for TRON TRX, and that's my prediction based on what's happening with, with BTC, and of course with the mining restrictions, Binance getting nuked here and there temporarily. And that's what I wanted to share with you today in terms of TRON and BitTorrent. However, so I'm going to just continue a little bit more here before we wrap up the video. And so as a result, investors started shifting to riskier safe haven assets, including Bitcoin, to seek better returns. But as soon as the fears of the Fed's tapering grew over markets, Bitcoin started declining. On Wednesday, Bitcoin's move lower from 35,000 came right after the central bank's minutes went public. And you know, I was surprised that it actually this soon maintained the mid 35s and a bit higher since the crash happened. I thought that, you know, it would really struggle and just sit around 30, 31 for a while. I didn't think it would go mid 35s or anywhere close to 40 as quickly as it did. So I think here the market's a little bit spooked, but I do see Bitcoin definitely staying above 30 long term and staying within the 30 to 45 trading range for the rest of 2021. I'm not changing my forecast there at all. John Miller, a financial analyst associated with Seeking Alpha, noted that the Fed's hawkish notions offset Chairman Jerome Powell's aim to ensure strong long-term monetary accommodation. You know, and Markets get spooked, when the Fed comes out and when they say they're not going to support the markets like they were doing. Obviously, that rattles the cage a bit too. So the Fed's accommodative balance sheet policy will continue to support elevated liquidity in the banking system and backstop asset prices, Miller wrote. Cryptocurrencies and crypto assets with strong store of value dynamics such as Bitcoin will excel in this environment. That's 100% right. These are just some hiccups, and it'll just be hiccups for BitTorrent and TRON TRX as well. And I'm going to go to major support at 30,000 can easily be flipped with a rebound to a more ambitious price towards 50,000 to 70 in the mid to long term. If they're talking about this year, never going to happen. I do think that will top out around 45 at some point this year and float around there near the end of the year. So, as usual, hope this finds you healthy, happy. I will see you on the next video.